Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This show is brought to you by Portal to Ascension. So, what if some of the biggest discoveries on Earth were hidden at the bottom of the world? From Antarctica to ancient civilizations, secret space programs to Project Bluebeam, today's conversation with our guest, Brad Olsen, explores what most people don't know about our past and why it matters now. I'm Dr. Joan Hangarter, also known as Joan of Angels. I work as a personal strategy advisor and executive producer, including my role at the New Living Expo, and I support people through pivotal transitions where clarity, discernment, and grounded perspective truly matters. People usually find me through referrals and meaningful conversations, though there's a simple way to connect through my website if there's resonance. So reach out if that aligns with you. So next I'm going to show you a little bit update about the New Living Expo.
The world is changing faster than ever before, and within this evolution, a new consciousness is rising. At the New Living Expo, thousands gather to expand consciousness, explore new conscious technologies, ancient wisdom, and the future of human potential. Immerse yourself in 3 days of heart-expanding wisdom and mind-binding awareness, with over 90 speakers sharing tools to awaken your highest potential. 125 exhibitors, 3,000 attendees, awakened souls unite in one powerful weekend of learning, healing, and connection. Experience transformation, connection, and the next chapter of human evolution. It is time for humanity to awaken. Join us at newlivingexpo.com.
I love that video. I hope you guys all join us at the New Living Expo. It's going to be very exciting. Just you wait and see. Today's guest has some real information about what's going to happen over there too. So today we are speaking to Brad Olsen, one of my favorite people on the entire world, one of the most adventurous. He's an award-winning author, historian, explorer, book publisher, and event producer whose work has helped shape modern conversations around ancient civilizations, hidden history, and esoteric knowledge. He's the author of 10, maybe 10, it could be 11, including the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric, Future Esoteric, and his latest release, Beyond Esoteric. He's traveled to all 7 continents, and he's going to show us this book, I promise you. He's traveled to all 7 continents. He even took a sailboat to Antarctica, which I think is quite crazy. We're going to find out all about that, I am sure, in search of answers to humanity's deepest mysteries. So his work's been featured on Ancient Aliens, America on Earth, Beyond Belief, Coast to Coast AM, and dozens of other shows. And we are really privileged to have him coming up today. So welcome, Brad.
Hey there, Joan of Angels. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to speak with you. And I will join you at the New Living Expo, that's for sure, as one of the speakers. Can't wait.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, let's get into New Living Expo and start with that then. What do you think? What are you going to be bringing to the New Living Expo, Brad?
Well, in support of my 11th book, Secrets of Antarctica, I have a brand new presentation based on the navigable directions, among many other things, that the Germans discovered under the ice of Antarctica. And I'm coming with the receipts on this one. We have the diving directions for the U-boats to go well under the ice in Antarctica, and as well as spelled out right there in German, to Agartha, as they knew it, as they called it. So this is going to be a really amazing presentation. I know you're going to be in the audience to see it. It's brand new. It's very well received so far, as well as the book, which has only been out since January 1st. So it's just shipping from Amazon and other retailers at the moment. So I'm really excited about presenting this new material in 2026.
That's amazing. So I caught you on a podcast a while ago where you were talking about your sailboat trip. And I had a lot of questions about that. Like, who takes a sailboat up to Antarctica? I didn't even think you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that, but it's fraught with danger. And I got seasick for 3 days straight. I was puking my guts out for that whole time. I think I lost about 25 pounds on this trip. There I am, setting sight on the Antarctica continent.
And they allowed you on the continent, like, because we're told that you can't go.
That's not true. Living proof that you can. Yeah, we had to go to the Argentinian Navy and submit our passports as well as an itinerary. But you want to do that. If your ship gets in trouble or something, you want to know that there's a possibility of getting some help. We didn't, although we hit some stormy seas crossing the Drake Passage. That's when I got so seasick. But basically, once we were down there, it was pretty much free reign wherever we wanted to go. We could drop our dinghy in the water and go visit a penguin colony, or go right up to the side of a glacier and chip off some of the blue ice, which, by the way, is very, very old and compressed down. And so when you put it in a drink, when it melts, it starts popping like popcorn. It's a really cool experience.
So is that blue ice drinkable? Because I thought I read that isn't that part of the firmament? Like, what is the blue ice? What do you think that blue ice is?
Well, it's compressed down. So here's a picture on the back cover with the blue ice in the background. It just appears blue because it's very, very old and compressed. But it's still fresh water. It's drinkable. It's not dangerous.
It's not from this firmament.
No.
Gotta ask, Brad. You know, these are the questions everyone does ask, you know, and then they talk about the land beyond the ice wall. True or false?
No such thing. So a wall asserts that it goes all the way down into the ground. There are ice shelves, but they're water underneath. And that's where the ice fish live. And we were down there with a group of scuba divers, believe it or not. And one night they invited us onto their boat and showed us a whole bunch of videos and pictures. They did wreck dives. They did all kind of scuba dives all over, including under the ice shelf. And that's where the ice fish live. They're called the Jonah ice fish. And these are the keynote species down there. So this is food to the penguins and the seals. And there are millions of them. And they have their nests, their little rookeries underneath the ice there. Just was a big news story last year where somebody was sending a submersible down there and they saw just thousands of nests of the ice fish down there. So it's definitely an open cavity, open water. And these guys went scuba diving under there. I was like, wow, that's pretty ballsy.
Well, yeah, it sounds pretty ballsy to go up to Antarctica when they're putting out all of this information that you can't come.
Well, this is why I went down there. And as far as I know, I'm the only researcher in this field that self-financed a trip to go down there to look into all these mysteries. And while I kind of got no answers to the questions that I was looking for, which started in Ushuaia before we even went out at a New Year's Eve party, I started to talk to a bunch of other ship captains that were taking trips down there. So I said, do you know anything about pyramids poking through the ice? No. Do you know anything about 3 massive motherships that have supposedly been known since the 1970s? No. Do you know anything about antediluvian civilization or giants? No. And it's not that they are hiding a secret. And this is the same line of questioning I had at all the bases I went to, where I was talking to some of the people that were working down there in the for other countries in their respective bases. Same thing. No. But what I did find out is that there are definitely no-fly zone areas. and there are definitely some mysterious things going on. So, for example, at one of the Argentinian bases, they had news of a UFO flyover over the Belgrano 2 base. And that's located not too far away from New Schwabenland, where the Germans claim their area. And just 3 weeks before, I was talking to someone, and he was actually down there to study the ice fish, that he said that they had this massive sighting with of UFOs over the Belgrano 2 base. So to that, I thought, well, okay, this is confirmation, at least a little bit, that some of the talk of UFOs flying over and around Antarctica are actually true.
Well, did they talk about it like it's common up there that these people at the bases see them regularly?
Well, no, I don't know if it's a regular occurrence, but it had just happened in this case, and they were quite excited about learning that their other base mates had seen it. So I think that was some validation that that there are these kind of sightings, but they're kind of few and far between, because I didn't have any UFO sightings. We did have the midnight sun, which is kind of a unique phenomenon when you're that far down south, that you have the sun is out at midnight. And there were a couple days when it was warm enough to be in our bathing suit. We did the polar plunge, the jump in the water with penguins around, so kind of had to do it.
So did you find the pyramids?
No, I did not. But in my research, while looking into it, I have illustrations and GPS coordinates and Google Earth photographs of them. And I've been able to locate 3 different pyramid fields in Antarctica. And one group is in the Ellsworth Range, another in the Shackleton Range. That one's called the Great Pyramid of Antarctica. That one in the Ellsworth Range here is the one featured on Ancient Aliens. It's the one a lot of people talk about. And then there's a third one, a very remote one, in a place called Oats Land. That's way hard to get to, but it too is, lo and behold, another pyramid. Now, I think the jury is still out if these are created with intelligent hands or if they're just pyramid-shaped mountains, which they call nunataks. If they are made with intelligent hands, Joan, I think this is a complete game changer. Then this shows that there was some kind of high-tech civilization in Antarctica that once, perhaps Atlantis, that left behind these monuments. And on the back of the cover of the book is "All roads lead to Antarctica." Of course, no roads lead to Antarctica, but I think with disclosure, we could have quite meaningful disclosure coming out of Antarctica, possibly this year. And 2026 is meant to be the year of worldwide disclosure.
So what do you think is going to come out of this year for Antarctica then?
Quite literally coming out. Yeah, well, I think that's the big question, because there are many different things that could lead to this worldwide disclosure from Antarctica. One, it could be that there are 3 known very large mothership type ships, miles across. They're so big that perhaps this will be the year that this becomes well known, picked up by the mainstream media, which they're already interested in. And sometimes you'll get a report, just like in this year, we've had the underneath the Giza Plateau, you have Bondi and his associates that did the scan of the Giza Plateau. They're doing that now over Antarctica. and they're finding just incredible images. And even NASA is coming out with these what look like, to me, what look like grid-like city patterns. And the Sun newspaper in the UK came out with one with another pyramid under the ice. So
Under
this
the ice.
mind-blowing stuff. And so if this starts continued to get released, I think this is the game changer we've been waiting for.
Interesting. Yeah, in almost the same year as the information about Egypt was released. Do you think that these pyramids are Egyptian in origin?
So I quote David Hatcher Childress from Ancient Aliens, where he says, if these pyramids are real, then he says that this could be the game changer. So his quote is, if the gigantic pyramid in Antarctica is an artificial structure, it would probably be the oldest pyramid on the planet. And in fact, it could be the master pyramid that all other pyramids on planet Earth were designed to look like.
Wow.
His words.
Wow. The master pyramid of the planet, almost as if they could birth themselves. Like, isn't that kind of interesting?
And do you know that there are pyramids on all 7 continents of the world? And
I have read that.
yeah, so in Australia, it's the Gympie pyramids. China has pyramids near the old royal city of Cheyenne. You have the Bosnian pyramid. I'm going to be speaking at the Bosnian Pyramid Conference in June with Dr. Sam, and Billy Carson will be there, who's also at the New Living Expo. And you have, of course, the Great Pyramids in Egypt and Africa. Here in North America, we have the Cahokia Mounds. The Monk's Mound is the largest earthen mound in North America, as well as many other earthen mounds. And down in South America, they have a pyramid in Lima, Peru, an ancient pyramid that's been excavated, and also in Tiwanaku in Bolivia near the shores of Lake Titicaca. So literally, all 7 continents have pyramids. Something is going on here. And maybe they were built by the ancients to anchor the continents after several pole shift scenarios. During the Osirian Empire in Egypt, when the Great Pyramids were built there, which, by the way, are at the exact intersection point, north and south, latitude and longitude, to connect the largest amount of land on the planet. Because essentially we live on an Earth, a water planet. So Earth is comprised of 71% ocean. So it's mostly a water planet. And the Great Pyramid happens to be at that intersection point, north, south, east, west, that has the most amount of continental land in the world. That couldn't have not been coincidence.
On the lines that go around the planet, you mean?
Not like the ley lines. No, I mean,
latitude,
you have
longitude.
to look at a globe.
Mhm.
I have this in my book, Modern Esoteric, a map of the Giza Plateau and how it's anchored. So if you went north and south, so you'd start way up in Scandinavia, through Europe, right along Lebanon and Egypt to get to the Giza Plateau, and then all the way to the bottom of Africa. So that's the north-south. But then east-west, you go all the way to the west coast of Africa, and then all the way to Southeast Asia on the other side. And that's quite a bit of land.
And don't you cross the U.S. too?
And you would cross the U.S. too. Yeah.
Because I think I was told that Up in Giant Rock was on that ley line.
Yeah, the 33rd degree parallel. And you know what else is interesting about that is on the planet of Mars, the Cydonia region, which happen to have pyramids, is also at the 33rd degree latitude north.
You can't make this up.
You can't.
You can't. It's just like, okay, but what are they trying to tell us? with all of these synchronicities.
That there was a high-tech civilization on planet Earth.
Similar to the one on Mars.
And one on Mars too, yeah. Exactly.
And all of these continents are connected. So you were also saying that the pyramids anchored down the landmass. Is that kind of?
Yeah. So just let's talk about the scenario of Atlantis sinking. It wasn't one singular event. It was actually many events, but culminating in a pole shift where the continents drift. The whole concept of continental drift, whereas at one time, all the continents were combined in Pangaea or Gondwanaland. And through a series of pole shifts, those continents have drifted, including Antarctica, which was once a steaming jungle. And that is proven in the fossil records. So a location in Antarctica called Mount Buckley, you can find fossils of ferns that could only have grown in Antarctica when it was a steaming hot jungle, as well as different species of dinosaurs in the fossil record, some of which are unique to Antarctica alone. They're found nowhere else except Antarctica. So it must have been a very tropical climate at one point, but has since moved to its present location and then froze over with 2 miles of ice on the polar plateau.
2 miles of ice. So very interesting. So are there tunnels that go down into the ice, or there must be caverns then?
Oh, yeah. Well, in my first talk of Antarctica called The Hidden Anomalies of Antarctica, I showed the fault lines and the volcano zones of Antarctica. So there are 14 known active volcanoes in Antarctica and 93 known geothermal vents. So it's very geothermically active continent. And under that 2 and at some points even 3 miles thick of ice, you have the propensity for very large under ice domes from the geothermal heat. And also there are holes in the ice on the polar plateau, one of which is near the South Pole Station. And I think it was the one that Admiral Byrd described in his diary of flying a plane into and seeing this extraordinary landscape underneath the ice. So when you mix the volcanism and the geothermal heat with these big domes, you also have lakes down there that never freeze. And you also have rivers that flow throughout the year with warmer water than the freezing ice above. So you have and scientists are even proving this with all these scans that they're doing and discovering it's a whole ecosystem down there. It's a whole landscape that has never been seen before. So you have the propensity for new life forms to be down there too. And that's quite exciting that you could have, even animals that have yet to be discovered living down there.
And giants.
Giants too. You know, we love to talk about giants here, Joan. I have a whole chapter about the Patagonian giants in Antarctica. You know, when the first mariners went down there, including Magellan, who discovered the Magellan Strait between Patagonia and Terra del Fuego, they encountered these tribe of giants. And Magellan's historian, guy named Pigafetta, he even was quoted as saying that the giants were so tall that we only reached his waist. And, you know, I'm really tall too. So you can imagine when I went to China and Nepal and put my arm on the top of a house, you kind of feel like, Is
that true? Wait, is that true?
Lilliputians. Gulliver's Travels, you know. Fortunately, I didn't get captured and tied down. That didn't happen.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you didn't get put in a sanatorium and you actually made it back to us alive here.
Yes.
So, okay, so I know that there's supposed to be giants buried under Antarctica. How tall are these giants?
So there was a book that came out in the 19th century called The Smoky God. And I quote it in this book. And it's written as a nonfiction adventure story of a father and son who leave from Norway, and they're going towards the North Pole, and they find an entrance into the inner earth, a water entrance. And I don't ask me to try to explain how this is possible, but they basically sail into it and underneath it, and were down there for a number of years when they met a tribe of giants, and then they pop out at the South Pole in South America. So how they did that, I don't know. But there are so many different stories, as well as the schematics of a hollow earth, that come from Tibet, that come from Antarctica, that come from other races of people, that says that there is this inner earth empire. And so when the father and son go through it, they say that they came in contact with this inner earth race of giants, and that they say that when they talked to them, they said that once in a while the giants would come out through the hole in the ice, through other entryways, and the fastest and the closest continental landmass, of course, is the southern tip of South America. So according to the author of The Smoky God, the giants of Patagonia are the throwback to some of their ancestors who lived in inner earth and were giants down there. And also in South America, you have the elongated skull giants. And we even saw some of them in a museum in the Sacred Valley of Peru, that indeed there are also these elongated skull giants. And there's a whole graveyard and a museum in Paracas, Peru, where a lot of these elongated skulls, which are 30 to 35% larger heads than humans, are on display for people to see.
Are they human looking, or do you think they're extraterrestrial, alien?
So they are human-like, but they're not quite human. So there's some very big distinctions. For one, they have a very bulbous back of their head, and the cranial capacity is 30 to 35% larger brain cranial capacity than humans. You also have the eye sockets much bigger, 30% larger eye sockets, as well as the connection with the spine is also much larger. Plus, those skulls don't have the central suture crack that is on all humans. They don't have those with the elongateds. So they're same, but different. They were bipedal. They probably looked quite like humans, facially featured, and 2 arms, 2 legs, but a much bigger head. Yeah, with a bigger head is a bigger body.
Right, which is more evidence, I think, of the alien race. So, giants have been found in other places. Have you been exploring and looking for giants all around the globe?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm going to have an upcoming book called The Giants of Antiquity in a couple of years. It takes me a while to come out with a new book. So when a new book does come out, it's a big deal for me because it takes me a while.
You have like 11 books now. So how often are you releasing them? Every 2 years?
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years, because you have to go research.
Yep. And so my 12th book is called Underwater Archaeology. That'll be out around 2028 or so. And it features megalithic structures underwater, Joan. So explain to me, how do you build a megalithic structure underwater? There had to have been a time when the sea levels were much lower when a lot of these constructions were built, as well as roads that lead right down into the water, including in Malta. I saw them, these cart tracks that go right down into the water, right into the ocean. And there are other locations around the world where you have this happening. So I think this too is a smoking gun for antediluvian high-tech civilizations that built with megalithic constructions around the world at a long ago time, perhaps 2 or 3 or longer pole shift time zones ago. So there's a chapter, the first chapter is on Hyperborea, with evidence millions of years ago of building constructions and other artifacts that have been found that date that old. And then you have Lemuria about 50 to 70,000 years ago, and then Atlantis just 15,000 years ago when that sank.
So it's so interesting so do you think that all those giant trees that we see around the earth are part of that era of the giants?
I'll have to look into that some more. A lot of people are saying, yeah, look at Devil's Tower and down in South Africa. I've been to Devil's Tower. It's very volcanic looking to me. Yeah, it's got a flat top. Yeah, it kind of looks like a tree trunk. But it's the basalt columns, which are very common in other volcanic sites. So just right here in California, between you and me, is the Devil's Postpile near Mammoth Lakes. And it's the same thing. It's these basalt columns that came out from volcanism. So I kind of think they've been misidentified as trees. I mean, not to keep bursting your bubble on the flat earth and the ice wall and the trees and stuff. We kind of got to have a
I have to ask these questions, okay?
It's okay.
It's in my nature because I'm very curious. Okay, so, but I have seen with my very own eyes, really these flat topped, they're a mile high, and kind of, if you're looking from the above down, it does kind of, some of them do look like the base of tree trunks.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard the term pareidolia?
No.
Where you see faces or shapes or animals in the clouds or in rock
yeah, I do that all the time.
In case of pareidolia, Joan.
I do that all the time. I
know the angels are out there, and I know they follow you around, but we do kind of have to be a little bit rational about some of these claims.
People need to ask, and you need to explore, and you get the answers, and we're all fine. We're all kosher.
It's all good.
Right? It's all good. Okay, so that's the giants, and you have your new book coming out in a couple of years on the giants, which is good. I can imagine that being a giant. I did meditation one day, and I found myself in a 50-foot Egyptian being. Wow. And I looked down, and people looked like grasshoppers. So I can imagine that that it would be a complicated relationship.
Yeah.
The giants and the humans.
It would.
Yeah. All right. So now you think they're going to find those spaceships and the extraterrestrial beings that they say are hidden in Antarctica also?
So they've already been discovered and known since the 1970s. Our NSA, the No Such Agency, that was created in the 1940s to cover up and to deal with UFO crash sites or recover alien bodies, even living ones, and what to do with them. The NSA has been down in Antarctica since at least the 1970s. And they have a building in McMurdo. It's the big secret that everybody knows about, kind of like Area 51, where they operate out of, but they're also personnel out at the South Pole Station. And their job is to maintain the secrecy of the hole in the ice, because the hole in the ice goes all the way down to the bottom continental level. And that's where supposedly an ET city resides that the Germans made contact with even before World War II during the New Schwabenland expedition. And so some of these UFOs, these giant UFOs, one of them is pretty well known in the in New Schwabenland. And it is just this giant machine-looking structure that in 2013, if you were to go on the Wayback Machine to the GPS coordinates that I provide in the book, it's the Conan German base to this day. And in 2013, they were doing some kind of excavation there. And I'll show you a picture here in a second of what it looks like. It is some kind of massive machine under the ice. And this is what it looks like today. Now it kind of got blown over. But back then, in 2013, they were excavating it. So I think this is one of the three, which got the nickname Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, which are Columbus's ship, but just kind of a funny nickname. And then Linda Moulton Howe, who's actually been a huge asset in researching this book. And she put me in touch with Brian S., one of her whistleblowers. And we had about an hour-long conversation. Brian S. flew over the no-fly zone in an emergency evacuation. And they saw the hole in the ice. The whole crew saw it. And they were just blown away by it. And Linda Moulton Howe also had the whistleblower Spartan 1 and Spartan 2, which they discovered this partially obscured octagonal black basalt UFO on the Beardmore Glacier. So I think that's Nina, Pinta, or Santa Maria number 2. And then I've got some images of possibly the third, but I don't know the exact location of that one yet. But it's down there, Joan. And that's why I mean, this could be the meaningful disclosure. If any one of these three get the kind of attention they deserve, maybe we can go down there with the film crew and document it. Then this is it. This is the game changer we've been waiting for.
So how likely are we to have that?
You never know. It could. I think when the dam opens, it's just going to flow out like a broken dam. Because right now, disclosure is like a little drip, drip, drip. And it's starting to become a pretty steady stream. But if the dam breaks open, then I think all bets are off. And maybe they would grant us permission to go, because I want to go back. I want to go back with a film crew, and I know where to go. And I know how to locate some of these spots. But you have to get permission through the National Science Foundation, who basically cuts a check for all the bases, all the American bases. And they would then need to get permission from the NSA. But if the NSA is on stand down and saying, okay, you can go, then I want to be in a position to go and break this story. Because I think this is really going to be where disclosure comes from, right down there in Antarctica.
Wow. Are you raising funding for this?
Yeah, there was, I was doing one of my talks, and a guy came up to me afterwards. He goes, man, you got to go back there. He says, I'm a venture capitalist. We raise funds. And so this company called VC Cross, we're on their website, and they're putting it out there to try to raise the funds. If we can get it, I'm going.
Wow. Oh my God. That would be amazing.
It would. It really would.
That would be such a coup, Brad, for you too.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
And all we got to do is just get the permission to go from the South Pole station, and 50 miles away is this giant hole in the ice. And so when I was talking to Brian S., who flew over it and saw it, he said that there were snowmobile and cat tracks, like the snow cats that groom ski mountains. Mm-hmm. That's how they transport a lot of goods up there. He said there was a road that led across the polar plateau through the no-fly zone, and it basically corkscrews down. So there's a road to go to the inner Earth.
Into the inner Earth.
Yeah. Or take a snowmobile or snowcat.
Now, did you say that there's evidence of garters down underneath there?
Yeah, well, that's what the Germans said that they discovered. And on their route maps, I'll show you here. This is an original document written in German. We offer the translation above here, right there, Agartha. So
fascinating.
they knew about it since at least the early 1940s, because a lot of these maps were dated in the 1940s. So after they set up their first base 211 down there, a whole bunch of material and personnel were coming with ships, but also in these very large, they call them milk cow U-boats that were basically storage U-boats that you could get container size cargo in. And it was just a steady stream from Europe down there and building their bases out. And it wasn't just a singular one base 211. I've been able to pinpoint 3 locations where the Germans set up shop. The first was that military base called Base 211, which they built near the Schumacher Ponds, these lakes that never freeze because of geothermal activity. And another one where these caps are, also in New Schwabenland, where you could fly a plane into very much a man-made looking cavity to a location called the Thule Refuge. And the Thule Refuge was basically an underground lake or an underground base. And these are the Schumacher Ponds that never freeze. This is from a German map. There it is, Schumacher Seen-Gruppe, group of lakes. And that's where base 211 was. Then you have these under the ice maps that go deep into the Antarctica continent, which get to within 100 miles of the South Pole. We charted it out based on the German U-boat maps. And this is the Thule Refuge, an underground city also down there, which I would presume all of them interconnect, that they had some kind of under ice network where they could go around from base to base. But the largest was called the New Berlin base, and it was a veritable science city, according to Captain Mark Richards, Kerry Cassidy's whistleblower. And I bought his book, Operation High Jump, at a trade show some years ago, and excerpted from it and read the whole thing, highlighted it. And he was saying that that was what Operation High Jump was all about, that they were meant to go there to destroy the science city, where they took all their UFOs, materiel, and personnel out, even during World War II, because they knew the war was going to be lost by 1943. When the tide turned in Russia and then they had to start retreating, they knew it was over. So they had 2 years to get everything out, including many metric tons of gold under Martin Bormann. And that guy keeps popping up all over South America in the 1950s. So this is the Fourth Reich. They started a Fourth Reich out of Antarctica and the micronations in South America. And for all intents and purposes, they're still at it to this day. In fact, Stuart Swerdlow just did some interviews with Dr. Michael Sala and also with Nino Rodriguez, where he was saying he knew multi-generational Germans who lived their entire lives down there. And they said, how are we going to tell the world that there's a Fourth Reich? You know, they're not going to take too kindly to it. So they need to keep quiet about it, or they're waiting for the right moment when they can announce themselves. And also, there was a book that Kerry Cassidy got anonymously about, it was called The New Berlin Base, where somebody who was multi-generational grew up in the base and kind of describes in the beginning what it was like. And they lived under the ice and never even knew about the surface world. But then some years later, as a young adult, they had the way out. And then this guy published his book. But that's the kind of thing, Joan. I mean, there's just so many secrets and layers to all of this. It's like the onion. You peel a layer off and then it's another mystery. You get to that one and you get to another mystery. They all kind of interlock and they keep going deeper and deeper under the ice of Antarctica.
Right, under the ice. Yeah, no, it's very fascinating. Like, why did all this happen at Antarctica? You know,
Well, if you think about the best place to hide on planet Earth and the least explored regions are the deepest depths of the ocean and under Antarctica and Greenland, the two ice fields. And I've just gotten some new intelligence about an ET base under Greenland, similarly to Antarctica, same sort of thing. If you're able to set up shop and tap into the geothermal activity, which, by the way, the mid-Atlantic ridge that goes right through the middle of the Atlantic, that goes right up there to Iceland. And parts of Greenland also have geothermal activity. So if you can tap into that, you've got an energy source, you've got heat, and you've got a way to power your machinery. So the Germans tapped into that, and they would actually follow the mid-Atlantic ridge underwater in their submarines until they would get to Antarctica, and it went right directly to New Schwabenland. Just amazing stuff here. I was so excited when I was writing this book and coming out with this information. I had this research assistant in Germany who I'm going to meet in May when I speak at a large conference there. And he's well deep into all this and kept giving me more and more of this information. It just blew my mind, but was able to look at it, translate it, and put it in the new book. So
a little cutting edge research.
Oh, this has never been seen in the Western world yet. Just now, Robert Seffer, he came out with a video about the Vril women, and he mentioned this guy, Nikolai Subotin, who is a journalist in the UK that bought this stuff on the black market when the Soviet Union collapsed. Because, you know, when the wall in Germany came down, you could go to the Soviet Union, you could go to Moscow at the end of the Soviet Union with a suitcase full of hard currency, and people would go into the KGB offices and say, well, what do you want? Oh, I want an alien autopsy video. Okay. How about a UFO crash video? Yep, we got it. And all this Antarctica stuff went out on the black market. And this journalist, Nikolai Subotin, he's been putting it out there, giving it to the world. Here's that map of the mid-Atlantic ridge and the fault line that goes right through Antarctica and then all the way up to Iceland. And so the U-boats would just follow that route right to New Schwabenland. You can see it written there on this German map. And then it carried on the other side to New Zealand. So this is It's all out there. If you're able to find this research and this guy Nikolai Subotin, several different data points. So he had this booklet from Colonel Wolf, who is one of the high-ranking officers in charge of sending materiel and personnel down there. You've also got the U-boat maps from the captains, and he even shows in this video a whole stack of videos. If you want to share screen, I can show you this video of him talking.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. I think you could click the share button down below. Do you see it? There's a plus sign there.
Let me see here. Video share plus. Yep. And then I'll go
Let's see if you can share it.
Do I go video file or share screen? That's it.
Let's try share screen.
Yep. Open system settings. Come on, just do it. You getting anything on your end?
No. Do you want to put the link to it here and I can try
Yeah,
it?
let's do that.
You put it in the private. I don't know if there's a private chat. Yeah, there is. Put it in the private chat. Let's see if we can do it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure everyone wants to see it.
Yeah,
I think it's amazing that all these conspiracy quote theories actually turn out to be true.
Right. Exactly.
And you have to wonder, I mean, that's how they became conspiracy theories because no one wants us to really know.
There's the link.
Okay, so let's see. Give me a minute.
Yep.
What else can you tell us about the conspiracy theories and what's happening on planet Earth then?
Well, this is the greatest time to be alive, Joan. I think
Yeah.
we all signed up for this mission. We're all here with a purpose for this period of disclosure, of seeing the old system start to crumble, and for the human race to ascend, I mean, to our proper position as guardians on the surface of this planet. And if we can play a small part in that role, then that's why I think we're here on Earth. I really do. I think that's why we're born here. So we might have to go past a couple commercials and then just kind of skip up to maybe, yeah, skip that. Okay, here he is, his little intro. You might want to go a little further along because it's just him kind of talking, but then he goes into him finding, talking about the New Schwabenland.
And people on board. That is a normal, good 2-year expedition.
You tell
the
me
task
where
of which
to
is
go.
to explore the
about
continental and ice
halfway in.
shelves in the area of the so-called.
Because then he brings out the maps and he flips through a whole stack of
Without
the
ice. Have
German
you seen it?
U-boat
Have you
maps.
seen it? Right?
You're
There's
doing
such
U
modern
maps.
research. Now, if we
Go
remember,
further.
then right here is, let's say, a bay. Well, in layman's terms, that is, right here, let's say, there are quite large depths. It was right here, in principle, that the Germans had to sail here not far. And now let's remember, there's such a funny photo circulating on the internet
The
right now. You've
pyramids.
probably seen it, arguing whether there's a pyramid in Antarctica. No, there's a pyramid in Antarctica. You know, to be honest, as a pragmatic journalist, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a fake. Then I actually found the coordinates. There really is a pyramid, and there is some expedition there, either Swedish or German. Years ago, it was photographed from different angles. There is a pyramid. Yes, indeed, there is this pyramidal structure there. And it is located approximately here.
I love this because sailing to the hollow earth would sound like a fairy tale.
Right. But now we got the maps.
Now, so should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going because there comes a time where he'll show.
Now let's look at Antarctica
U-boat
without
maps.
ice. That is, if we look at what this continent looks like when there was no icing, the pyramid is approximately here. That is, in fact, there is a huge inland sea here. That is, yes, it is quite possible that there was some kind of coastline with cities here. Now let's remember, so where could the Germans actually sail? Did they sail into the hollow earth? Or maybe they were sailing not into the hollow earth at all, but really, passing under the ice,
Just
under
under
this
the
ice.
ice.
Look here, there is a very good strait here, formed by the secret of glaciers. Maybe, really, this navigation chart shows exactly this passage to the ancient city of the gods. Now let's remember the 12th, 14th year, Hilschner's base broke away. Why did it break away? Because at that time Antarctica was already starting to melt. That is, in this area, and this, by the way, is confirmed by modern research. It was not just the melting of the glacier from below that began, but the exposure of that real rocky relief that existed tens and hundreds of thousands of years ago. That is, the Germans. They probably found some underground cavities there, connected with those ancient cities that existed in Antarctica at that time. Well, not at that time, but a long time ago. Yes, well, yes, there you go. This is what Antarctica looks like. There is a pyramid here. That is, you can easily sail here. If something fell out there, you can explore it. Not just explore it, but make a really secure base there. As Dennett said, we found for our Führer in 1943, I think he said, a magnificent shelter.
Yeah, a Shangri-La under
Well,
the ice.
and here I'll show you the end again. That is, this is what Antarctica really looks like. Here we have continental ice. The pyramid is located approximately here, and here are photos of it from different angles. That is, the research is just beginning. We will search and look. Well, and most likely, after all, I repeat once again, the Germans did not find some underground cavities inside the Earth, but found quite real cities of the gods that were in Antarctica.
Wow.
City
They
of the
found
gods. Yep.
real cities of the gods in Antarctica. Do you want me to do another couple of minutes or no?
Yeah, sure. Just I hope he's still going to show the point where he finds shows all the maps.
Got it. So in
Yeah.
other words, we have to go further. At least 2 underground cities have been built, ancient tunnels. I don't know if I see any more maps on here.
Yeah, maybe
All right,
not.
well,
Maybe
people
we
can find it. But that was great. I love how they're talking about the cities of the gods. Oops.
of Subbaton, and you can see how he's flipping all these pages, and there's his finger right there. So there are many of these maps. He says he's seen about 50, and in this case, they were. There's his hand. He's flipping through these maps. I mean, they're very authentic because each one of them is signed by an admiral and also stamped, and each one is uniquely different. And he even goes on to say that they were made in one of the concentration camps, that they were using the slave labor to use to create these maps. And then after the war, they were all executed. So like dead men tell no secrets kind of thing.
Right.
So this was top secret stuff. And of course, the Soviets were the first to get to Berlin. So they got the lion's share of all of the artifacts, the maps, all this high-tech stuff that they took back. And the KGB was just sitting on it and analyzing it for years. So it wasn't until the fall of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s that it saw the light of day, and people like Subbaton got their hands on some of this stuff.
Incredible, incredible. So you are bringing all of this to New Living Expo?
You bet you I am. You're gonna wanna catch my talk. This is really cutting edge stuff.
It absolutely is. I feel like you're breaking through new territory, new ground for us, Brad, and you're always like on to the next thing. It's quite amazing.
Thank you.
So, okay, last question. What motivates you to do this incredibly exciting but dangerous work?
Well, I just think it's the zeitgeist of the ages, Joan. We're living in worldwide disclosure that's going to absolutely change everything. I mean, Richard Dolan says that when this meaningful disclosure comes, we might as well start our calendar at year 0 again. I mean, it's that big. It's going to have that big ramifications in the world. Yeah. He wrote a book called AD1. we're gonna start new calendars once we get disclosure. Yeah.
That's kind of post disclosure and post the secrets of this planet. Yeah. I appreciate you diving in, Brad, and really looking to see what's going on and then bringing this information out to us. You know, I don't know anyone else who's gone up like that to Antarctica, forced his way in, and just, you know, you're just doing it. And I think it's amazing. And you are going to be at New Living Expo. All right. Well, we really appreciate you so much, Brad.
Oh, I appreciate you too, Joan, and Neil, and all he's done with this conference, which is the Bay Area original. I used to go to the New Living Expo when it was in San Francisco in the 1990s, and saw so many great speakers, including Timothy Leary in 1997, and David Wilcock was speaking a lot back then, and a whole bunch of other people. So this is really, this is the pillar of Bay Area disclosure here. So I'm so glad Neil's keeping it going.
I think so. And I think that, so we're doing it up in Marin County this year, but next year I think we're going to go back to San Mateo, which is a bigger and better facility. But it's funny thing is I used to go to the New Living Expo and have a booth when I was a chiropractor.
Wow.
That's a long time ago. I wasn't into the UFO track at that time, but the New Living Expo has been around for a long time.
That long, yeah.
And was the first and largest in its time of the consciousness expos. So we're very excited to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, you can catch Brad. Thank you so much, Brad. I'm going to pull you out. Guys, you can catch him at the New Living Expo. We're so grateful for him. Be sure to check out his book. Be prepared to get all 11 copies of all of his books. Do him a favor. You will not regret it. And I want to thank all of you who are watching this, from Portal to Ascension and from myself. We're so excited about your curiosity. We love that you love these conversations, and that you really are looking to see what is going on our planet. So definitely join us at the New Living Expo. Join us on the Mystery School Sea Cruise to Greece, and go to portaltoascension.org, where you can find our upcoming events online and in person, and sign up for New Living Expo. And if today's conversation activated something inside of you and you feel genuine resonance, reach out to me. Meanwhile, I'm Dr. Joan of Angels, and remember, expect miracles. You were born for this. We'll see you.